Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. How are you today? It is Monday. I hope you are fired up. I hope you are ready for an amazing work week. Happy Supernatural Success Monday. I am fired up today. As you can tell, I have a question for you. As always, I've got a question for you today. That question is this: are you settling for what seems to be your reality, or are you still pursuing God for the miracle? Are you settling for what appears to be your reality, what appears to be your lot in life, what appears to be what your normal is, or what you're used to, or what everyone has said is your normal or is your reality? Are you settling for that? Or are you still pursuing God for the miracle? Are you still believing Him for what seems impossible? Are you still trusting Him to do what seems like it can't be done? Are you settling, or are you pursuing? Good question today. So, of course, I know you've got your Bible, right? Because we never show up to Supernatural Success Mondays without our Bibles. I am reading today. If you're expecting a quick 2-second read, this is not the video for you. But if you know that we go deep and we read and we study, then I suggest you stay tuned, because there is a word for you today. We are in the book of Samuel. We are in First Samuel chapter 1, and we're learning about Hannah today. Listen, I know you know about Hannah. Hannah is a beast, right? I love Hannah. I love her tenacity. I love her willingness to pursue God, right? So we are learning about Hannah. What we learn is that she's married to Elkanah, right? She is one of two wives. So Elkanah has Hannah as a wife. He also has Peninnah as a wife. Peninnah can give birth and have children, and Hannah is barren. Hannah cannot have children. And so we got Peninnah, who is just ratchet, who is dramaful, who makes Hannah's life miserable. She provokes her, she taunts her, she teases her, she chastises her. She just really, like, she's a headache, right? She makes her living in vain, or she makes her living really, really difficult. And so we pick up the story where, Hannah and her family are going to the tabernacle to pursue God, to make their sacrifices for the year. And so I am in First Samuel chapter 1. I'm going to start reading at verse 8. It says this: Then Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Hannah, why do you weep? Why do you not eat? And why is your heart grieved? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? So Hannah arose after they finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli the priest was sitting in the seat by the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord. And when she was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish, then she made a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head. Drop down to verse 15. But Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrow spirit, and I've neither drunk nor wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Do not consider your maidservant a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief I have spoken until now. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel will grant your petition which you have asked of him. And she said, Let your maidservant find favor in your sight. So the woman went her way and ate, and her face was no longer sad. Well, if you keep reading, of course, she has Samuel, right? And we know that God had been very quiet for years. And when Samuel was a child, God spoke to Samuel. He became a prophet. He became one of the first prophets that God spoke to after many years of silence. But she did exactly what she said she was going to do. She dedicated Samuel to the Lord, and Samuel became a prophet. Now, here's what I want to say to you today. Okay, so we know that Hannah could have just rested, right? Hannah could have just shrunk and been like, you know what? I can't have children. That's my lot. I can't have children. That's my reality. I'm barren. My womb is blocked, right? God has blocked it. I can't have children. She could have not tried. She could have not, cared. She could have not continued to pursue the Lord. Like that was her lot in life. She was barren, but she wasn't okay with that. She wasn't okay with that because, see, in that time, having a son was everything. You were actually judged. You were actually perceived and accepted based on whether or not you could have children, whether or not you could produce heirs, right? And so she was judged, right? She wasn't in a good spot, but she could have accepted her lot and been like, that's just that. God blocked my womb, so I can't have children. But that wasn't Hannah. Hannah was like, no, I want a child. I'm going to pursue God for a child. I don't care what Penina says. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to the throne and I'm going to pursue God for an heir. And I told God, listen, God, if you do this thing for me, I will in turn do this for you. If you do this thing for me, I will take this child and I will give him back to you and he will serve in your tabernacle. God, if you do this thing, it says she wept in anguish. She went to the Lord and she poured out her heart. She was not okay with her lot in life. Now, what does this have to do with you and your business? I came to ask you today, are you settling? Are you okay with your lot in life? Are you looking at your reality like this is just it? This is just it. I'm from this area of town. I'm never going to be able to get to that point in life. I'm on this side of the tracks. I'm never going to be able to get to the other side of the tracks. Or I can't do this because no one in my family has done this. No one I've ever known has done this. Most of the people in my family have good jobs with good insurances, and this is just who we are. This is just where we are. No, I want to be a millionaire, but this is just where we are. See, have you accepted your reality? Have you accepted what people say that, the no that people have given you, right? No, you can't do this. No, you can't build that business. No, you can't be a millionaire. No, you can't increase your income. No, you can't overcome poverty. No, you can't take your family out of the situation that they're in. No, you can't go live on the West Coast, East Coast, in a totally different country. No, you can't learn another language. No, you can't do all of these things that are not your reality. Are you accepting their no? Are you settling for what seems to be your lot in life? Are you settling for what seems to be your reality? Or are you willing to be like Hannah and still pursue the throne? Are you willing to be like Hannah and go and get on your face and go and get before the Lord and wail in anguish? Are you willing to be like Hannah and say, God, I want this thing. I want it with all this in me. God, I want you to do this for me. And if you do this for me, God, I will do this for you. Listen, I remember having a conversation with the Lord. I don't know if you know, but I am from an impoverished area. I am first generation everything in my family. So it was hard for me to believe. It was hard for me to believe that I could do all of these things, get the advanced degrees and live this life that I'm living right now. But I remember making a vow to the Lord. God, if you would bless me, I will bless your kingdom. God, if you will advance me, I will advance your Listen. Oh, I can feel the tears. God, if you will advance me, I will advance your kingdom. If you will bring increase to me, God, I will bring increase to your kingdom. And I do it. I do it faithfully. Every time he brings increase, I'm given to his church. Every time he puts a word in my mouth, I'm given to his church, right? Every time he blesses me, I'm blessing his church because I made a vow. Just like Hannah, I made a vow that God, I will do this for you. God, I will shine for you. God, I will give glory to you. God, I will always be in your debt. God, I will always serve you. I will always worship you. If you do this for me, God, he is doing it for me. So I'm asking you today, are you willing to go before the Lord like Hannah and wail? Are you willing to go in anguish and ask God for that thing that's burning in your belly, for that thing that seems impossible to you, for that thing that seems like you can't have it or you can't do it? Somebody has told you no. Now, I could talk talk about Peninnah. That's a whole other video, because there's always going to be those Peninnahs that provoke you and taunt you. Those Peninnahs might be friends. They might be family members. They may even be your spouse. They may be somebody say, you still trying to build that business? You can't build the business. Why you keep trying to build the business? Why you keep trying to make that kind of money? Why are you even doing that? Don't you know you can't? Don't you know somebody has told you no? Don't you know that's just not your lot in life? That's just not who you are. There's always going to be a Peninnah. But if you notice, listen, if you notice, Hannah doesn't go to Peninnah to do anything or say anything. Hannah goes to the Lord. Listen, your battles are fought in the secret place. Your battles are fought on your knees. You don't need to go and talk to the Peninnahs. You don't need to prove nothing to that spouse or to that friend or to that family member that's trying to tell you what you can and can't do. You don't need to prove nothing to them. You don't need to even argue with them. You don't need to fight with them, because no weapons formed against you shall prosper. You fight your battles over it. Oh gosh, I could preach this thing today. You fight your battle on your knees, my friend. You fight your battle at the tabernacle, in the Holy of Holies, in the secret place. That's where God's going to hear you. That's where you make your vows. That's where he's going to hear you and answer your prayer. Listen, Hannah had Samuel. Samuel was a prophet, and a good one at that. Samuel was a great prophet. And so she made a vow to the Lord. He gave her the desires of her heart, and then he blessed that baby. And that baby became somebody who served him his entire life, right? Generations. And so listen, I came to tell you today, you don't have to accept your lot. You don't have to accept what anybody has told you. You don't have to accept any no's, right? You go to the Lord, because he is the God that can do all things. He can do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever ask or imagine. He is a God, and he is the greatest God. He is God, I am, right? I am everything. So whatever it is that you need, you can go to the Lord. Whatever you need done, you can go to the Lord. And if it seems impossible, trust that all things are possible to him who believes. Trust that with God, all things are possible. Even a woman who is barren and can't have children can have children when she pursues the Lord. So whatever your situation is, your business might be barren right now. It might seem like you can't have any increase. It might seem like you aren't giving birth to nothing. You hear me? But when you go to the Lord and you begin to pursue him, and you begin to wail in front of him in anguish, and you get on your knees and you get on your face and say, God, if you do this thing for me, listen, he will do it. He will do it. I hope this has blessed you today. I hope this is good seed to bring forth harvest in the rest of your week. There is no, right? There are no no's. God can do all things. I want you to continue to pursue him. I don't care what the Peninnahs in your life say. I don't care what your reality looks like. You walk by faith, not by sight. You pursue God, trust him for it, believe him for it, pursue the miracle. He will do it. He is faithful like that. I want you to do that this week, and I will see you right back here, same time, same place next week for Supernatural Success Monday. Stay on fire, my friend. I love you. God bless you. Take good care. Bye.